All right, Kyle Shanahan's Monday presser has just wrapped up. We're going to get into it right here. Welcome to the Krug Show. Off and running. Shanahan just spoke. He moved the presser. They're so sneaky. They moved the presser. They moved it up on us. We'll move it up on them. Last second. We'll get in there. Welcome to the Krug Show, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Shanahan just spoke. The press conference just wrapped. Let's go through it piece by piece. Welcome to the Krug Show. 49er update. It's entitled Bryce Huff and Brendel return. Aiyuk will not practice. More Mykel news. Why do we even need to do the stream when we've already got the info? But that's where it starts. Mykel Williams. Man, we knew. He knew at least. Torn ACL. And torn lateral meniscus. Shanahan said he'll heal well, but it won't be this year. It'll be next year. So out for the year. Mykel Williams, done for the year. Torn ACL, torn lateral meniscus. Niners lose a defensive lineman that they absolutely can ill afford to lose. This guy was playing a ton of snaps, and he was doing good work inside and outside, and that one hurts. That one hurts a lot because he's not the player that Nick Bosa is, but man, he's very valuable, very valuable. Unique skill set, hard to replicate. It makes you wonder. I mean, it's like now they need one piece, and now it's like one step forward, two steps back. Now it's like I almost feel like they need volume more than anything. They could use a couple pieces. So that was the first bit of news. Mykel Williams, torn ACL, torn lateral meniscus. Season officially comes to an end. Bad news. Good news, Bryce Huff is expected to be back for the Ram game this week. So that's good. The question, I guess, would be this. It's like he's coming back from a hamstring. What if he re-aggravates it? I mean, it's like, it seems like 2 weeks is a kind of a quick return from the hamstring. Maybe it wasn't that big of a deal. Hopefully they got it healed up because, man, they're going to need him. And then at the same time, if you're Chris Kasarik, you don't want to overplay Bryce Huff because he is your best guy, and you don't want that hamstring to go. Definitely don't want a recurrence of that hamstring. So how many snaps can Huff really go? That's the question. And that's the question that I'm going to ask Saleh on Thursday. How many snaps do you think Bryce Huff can give you? Hopefully we'll be asking Robert Saleh about, what do you think of your new defensive end or new defensive tackle? We'll talk about that in a second. But that was the big story today. Mykel Williams, torn ACL, torn lateral meniscus, out for the year. Bryce Huff, though, trying to come back from the hamstring and should be ready to come back Sunday against the Rams. The other headline is, once again, the 49ers are not going to open the 3-week practice window for Brandon Aiyuk. And it was a couple Fridays ago that Shanahan, made it seem like, he could be back next week. And then the next Monday, when we talked to him next after that, he's like, well, I was just saying that. I was just saying that it's kind of week to week at this point. Yeah, week to week before you open his practice window, but then there's a 3-week, window. That in and of itself is 3 weeks. So once again, I mean, we're in November. 3 weeks from now is Thanksgiving. Even if they opened his practice window, they would have between now and Thanksgiving to activate him, and most likely it looks like they would probably do it on the back end. So they're not ready for that. So my Thanksgiving estimate, which I thought at the time seemed very conservative. Like, you know what? He'll be back by Thanksgiving. Very conservative. But now it may not have been, that may have been too soon. Could be a December thing. So, and then of course, if the 49ers, started losing a bunch of games, they would just say, you know what, it's not worth it. We'll see them next year. So it's fluid, and it's not happening this week or next week. That's what it sounds like to me. I would say expect him back first week in December. That would be my guess. But he will not have his practice window opened. So what does that mean for the 49ers? It just means some other guys are going to have to step it up, right? I mean, it's if you look at it, it's real basic. I mean, other guys are going to have to step up. Nothing too complicated than that. More complicated than that. I mean, you've got Jawan Jennings, you've got Kendrick Bourne, you've got Sky Moore, you've got Jordan Watkins, you've got Demarcus Robinson. You're fortified with veterans. I think Robinson can play better than he's playing. I think Watkins can definitely contribute. Even Sky Moore, Sky Moore's kind of tough. He's a tough little guy with some speed, big hands. Bourne, veteran. JJ, veteran. Banged up veteran, but veteran. I mean, it would be great if they had a little bit more dynamic type weapon, but I think Watkins is very dynamic. Somebody asked me, where's Jacob Cowing? God if I know. I mean, he's in the locker room. I don't know what the plan is there. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what list he's on or what category he's in. I mean, I could go study the depth chart real quick and tell you exactly where he's listed. I'm sure he's listed here. But it's like, there's nobody talks about him. It's like out of sight, out of mind. He's not on the practice squad. Let's see. What list is he on? He's not on the PUP list. He's on IR. So there you go. Right now, 49ers on IR. Jacob Cowing, Yatir Gross-Matos, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Trent Taylor, Patrick Taylor, Trey Tomlinson, Jacob Robinson, the corner, rookie out of BYU, and Teron Jackson, who went on IR first. He was the first guy to go on IR. So there you go. 9 guys already on season-ending IR. Whew, just tells you the football season will beat you up. Absolutely beat you up. All right, let's take a quick time out. We got a few more thoughts, but first, a word from our sponsor. Here is a word from Mando. All right, quick break from the show to talk about something every guy can relate to: sweat and body odor. Fall's here, crisp air, football, maybe a bonfire or two. But if you're like most guys, you're still putting in hard work. And yeah, that means sweat. That's why I've been using Mando deodorant plus sweat control. I've been using it for a couple weeks now, and honestly, I was surprised how well it worked. One swipe in the morning, and I'm good all day. No reapplying, no heavy fragrance, just clean, dry confidence. What I like most is it actually prevents odor instead of just masking it. The stuff is clinical strength. It's proven to control both sweat and odor for up to 72 hours. And after 12 hours, underarm sweat was reduced by over 90%. It's double protection. No sweat stains, no pit rings, just long-lasting freshness. And if you're new to Mando, their starter pack is a great deal. You get a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, 2 free bonus products like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Right now, new customers get 20% off site-wide, plus free shipping when you use the code Larry at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com, shopmando.com. So if you want to control body odor anywhere, go to shopmando.com, use code Larry, and get 20% off plus free shipping. Please support the show and tell them we sent you. With Mando's deodorant plus sweat control, say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to all-day freshness. Don't mask it, Mando it. Oh, yeah. I was just smelling my own. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm just fresh as a daisy. Are you kidding me? I mean, I'm so fresh. I haven't been this fresh in a long, long time. Thank you, Mando. All right, back to Shanahan. A couple other nuggets today. Jake Brendel has a chance to return. Is that an update or is that a warning? Hey, I could bring back Brendel. No, I could bring, if you don't, I'll bring Brendel back. Jake Brendel has a chance to return. He has a chance to return. I did see some of the numbers on Matt Hennessy, though. They were very, very good. Do I dare read them to you? Some of these numbers on Hennessy looked really good. Hennessy had a nice, he graded out, once again, PFF. When they tell us what we want to hear, we love them. When they tell us things that we don't believe in, we don't believe in it as much. We're like, I don't know. I don't know if I believe it. What did I see? Let me see on Hennessy. I thought I saw Hennessy. There's a definite Hennessy stat. Here we go. Matt Hennessy against the G-Men. 29 pass block opportunities, 0 sacks allowed, 0 pressures allowed, 0 quarterback hits allowed, 100 pass block efficiency, 59.5 pass block grade, 76.8 run block grade. That's not bad. Can't do better than 0 sacks, 0 pressures, 0 hits. You're a total 0. You mean I allowed 0. So there you go. Matt Hennessy playing well. But Jake Brendel could return. And he could return this week against the Rams. Ricky Pearsall has a chance to return. But he'll be reevaluated later in the week. So it would be really nice to get Pearsall back. When Pearsall's in there, he's pretty good. It's just that he's not in there very much. Also, in a non-related wide receiver story, Marquez Valdez-Scantling has signed with the Steelers. So, I don't know. He's big and fast. He looks good in the uniform, but he's not doing anything across the middle of the field. Kind of a different cat. He's been on a bunch of teams, but, maybe he may be reuniting with Rodgers is a good thing for him. I'll say this, man. You'll be impressed at practice. You'll be like, whoa, look how big that guy is. Look how fast he is. That guy's that tall receiver is quick. He still can run, and he's always had great size. He's just not very physical across the middle of the field, and he's not the most sure-handed guy of all time. But MVS, Steelers looking for a wide receiver. I don't know if they're going to be able to trade for one by tomorrow, but they could sign one today. And, it's funny. When you see MVS going to the Steelers, my buddy with the Steelers was asking me, hey, what do you think's going on with MVS? I said, it sounds to me like Omar Khan is asking for a wide receiver and being told the price tag's too high. And so best way to do, to still get what you want is you go sign a veteran like MVS. And I don't need your receiver. Oh, wait a second. I know we wanted a third, but we'll actually do it for a fifth now. The deadline's coming. Nobody else actually wants this guy. Yeah, you want him for a fifth? Yeah, I'll take him for a fifth. So I would look for the Steelers to maybe make a trade for a wide receiver in addition to MVS. That's what I said to him. So there you go. Those are pretty much the headlines. So where are we 24 hours before the trade deadline? Got this one as well from Coach Yak. He says Kyle Shanahan was asked if the high level of play from Mac Jones allows them to be more cautious with Brock Purdy. He said they are not related. This is Brock's team. When Brock's good to go and everything and can play like Brock, there's no decision to be made. Yeah, I mean, you can't have a chaos situation. They're not going to just there has to be an order to things. Things have to make sense. You spent $265 million on Brock Purdy. The message you're sending when you pay somebody that kind of money is he's our leader. This guy's special. We believe in him. So the last thing you're gonna do is watch a couple good games from Mac Jones and be like, yeah, the way Mac's playing right now, we'll just tell Brock, just chill, just hang out. So you got to make it seem like very much like, hey, Brock's ready to go. It's his deal, and it is, and that is the deal. It's not just image. I think but I think the reality is that Brock's injury needs rest, and Mac Jones, and the way he's playing, can afford him that rest. I mean, the Niners could go back to Brock Purdy against the Rams, and what if there's a recurrence? Then you're riding the rest of the way with Mac Jones most likely, and Adrian Martinez. But if you could somehow get enough rest where Brock Purdy could get to whenever he returns, get to the finish line of the season, I think that would be that's what I would want to do. So, what's the best plan there? And to me, the best plan there is to stay with Jones right now. You're winning games, let Brock rest, and then, maybe even be as conservative as wait till the bye week, and then bring out of the bye week, bring Brock back. And you got 4 weeks of regular season games, and then, potentially a 3-week run through the playoffs. I think that gets 7 games there. It's almost half the season. But then in that scenario, you've given Brock about 8 to 10 weeks to heal that thing. And I think that's plenty of time. Now, Shanahan said the likelihood is that it's never going to be good enough all year. And that's partly probably because he's practicing on it, and I'm sure it doesn't get better if you practice on it. I mean, why would it? Most people are like, stay off it, stay off it. They didn't say stay off it, but you could still have an NFL practice. No, stay off it means stay off it. So I'm a little surprised by the way they're letting him practice, but that's their choice. So we'll see. We'll see, when he can come back. My guess is he probably will be able to come back in a week or two. And at that point, you're talking about, week 11 and the bye week's week 14. I think the smart play would either be to bring him back in the game before the bye week, because he hasn't played a lot of football. So let him play a week and then rest and see where it goes. Or give him the bye week and bring him back after week 14 and have week 15, 16, 17, 18, those 4 games to finish out the schedule with Brock Purdy. And that's the route I would go, is I would just say, hey, Mac, prepare to start until the bye week. And then Brock, hey, prepare to lead this team coming out of the bye week. And just be totally upfront with both guys. And then if Brock, to me, that at least is putting your best foot forward. That at least is saying to your fans, hey, you know what? We know this is serious. We know it can recur. They told us give it 5-6 weeks. We didn't give it 5 or 6 weeks. We gave it 8 to 10 weeks. We gave it extra time because we really didn't want to see it recur. We rode Mac as much as we possibly could. And, Mac did great things for us, because then you could find out. I guess you don't want to turn this into a situation where you're not finding out what Brock can do until you get to the playoffs. I think the toes can't be part of the conversation come playoff time. So I think if you put him out there after the bye week, you've given it plenty of time to rest, and then let's see if he can play. And there'll be 4 football games in there. And if it's going to recur, it's going to recur somewhere in there. And then you can go back to Mac Jones and finish with Mac Jones if you need to. I don't think I would put Brock out there right now, because I want, in an ideal world, to have him out there on Super Bowl Sunday, which is not until February. It's a lot of football to play between now and February. So I think I would wait to the bye. And then that's a good stretch there where he would have 4 games to kind of show that he's durable and can stay healthy. And if he can through those 4 games, then bring on the playoffs and let's go. And if he can't through those 4 games, then you go to Mac Jones in the playoffs. But I agree with Shanahan. Don't make it like a referendum on, how Mac is playing. Then it becomes a who's better situation. You don't want that. You've already told everybody that you think your guy is Brock Purdy, so he has to be the better guy. Even if you think Mac Jones has a lot of talent, you can't be like, well, they're about even. No, you've got to be like, hey, Brock's our guy. You've made that commitment. It's an odd situation, because here's also the other reality of it, and you guys all know this. If Brock Purdy comes back, and whatever week he comes back, plays a couple weeks, has a recurrence, and is out for the year, and Mac Jones steps in for Brock Purdy and finds a way to lead the 49ers to Super Bowl Sunday at Levi's and wins that game, then it's probably going to be his job. At that point, even though you paid Brock Purdy Mac Jones will have taken that job away by winning the Super Bowl. That's kind of how this thing works. So I don't think it's unlikely that would happen, of course, but in the likelihood in the possibility that it happened, I do think Mac Jones would then be their guy going forward, and they would figure out a new home for Brock Purdy. It's probably not going to happen that way, but if that's the way it came down, now it's really interesting. Then the other interesting thing is, what if they don't win the Super Bowl this year? Which is likely, obviously, right? It's only one team wins it. What if they don't win the Super Bowl this year? Then what do they do in the offseason with Mac Jones? Do they bring Mac back? Because, wow, how valuable is that? A $7 million backup quarterback? That's very valuable that you can win games with, especially when your starting quarterback may not be the most durable guy in recent years. So, I mean, that would have incredible value. But then you also are in a spot now where he's really playing well, and he's played well in some real high-profile moments, national TV, the whole league watching. Now you may see him play well in a playoff type game. I mean, there was a market for Sam Darnold. There's going to be a big market for Mac Jones, and now it's a trade market because he's not a free agent. He's a Niner for $7 million. He's even better than Darnold. He's a 1-year ticket. He's a 1-year lottery ticket for $7 million on your franchise quarterback. Who wouldn't take that? Hey, instead of signing this guy for $30 million a year and committing to hundreds of millions of dollars, we'll send you a quarterback and you can have him for 1 year at $7 million. And then if he's great, you can sign him up long-term. And if he's not good, you can start over. I mean, there'll be a bunch of teams that will look at Mac Jones and say, yeah, we'll give you a pick. And the question is, if he continues to play well, it may be a first-round pick. I don't think it would be. I think it would probably be more like a day 2 pick, but you never know. It's the law of supply and demand. Whoever, depending on how well he played, depending on how it looked, depending on who saw it, depending on who had a need. But yeah, Mac Jones is a 25-year-old, 6'4", 220-pound quarterback who can process and play from the pocket with accuracy, and he wins big games and he wins playoff games. I mean, that if you're looking at that kind of a player, I mean, you're talking about multiple day 2 picks in return. And that'll be the other interesting thing. Will Mac whisper to Shanahan and Lynch, hey, I gave you guys a lot this year. I saved your whole season. How about this? How about you send me somewhere I can be the starter? And do they acquiesce and say, yeah, we'll do it? Or do they say, no, man, you're valuable to us as a $7 million insurance policy on Brock Purdy's health. You're going to be back here in 2026. So that's going to be interesting drama to see unfold as well. How all these guys play, how it all fits together. But for the moment, that's kind of where it sits. And Shanahan made it clear that, look, this is Brock's job. When he's healthy enough to play, he's going to play. Which also kind of, I hope Brock is smart about it, because don't get out there until you're healthy enough to play, because the fans are going to, as soon as you say you're healthy enough to play, the injury thing is not really going to be a good excuse. It's like, you said you were healthy enough to play. So healthy, if I was Brock, I wouldn't go out there until I was healthy enough to be myself and win games. And I would, you got to be honest with yourself. Only he knows how he's practicing. Only he knows how accurate he is. Only he knows how much arm strength he's had or has. Only he knows, what the impact is of his ability to scramble and get away. If he loses a little bit of arm strength, a little bit of accuracy, and a little bit of speed, is he still better than Mac Jones? That's where I'm come in. I think Brock Purdy's better than Mac Jones, but if you put in a turf toe injury and take away some of his escapability and his arm strength and his accuracy, I think Mac Jones is better. That's just kind of how I see that. All right, a couple supers here. G-Code Travels Log POV. Dart impressed by 49er fans might want to play with the 49ers. He ain't going anywhere, man. He's staying in New York. Kid's tough too, but man, he better start looking to read coverage and get rid of the football, because he took some big time hits. Gizmo Maltese says Kyle's not playing running backs other than CMC is infuriating. Oh, I know. I'm with you. Gizmo, I'm all over that. I've been yelling about that on the radio, on YouTube. If, one thing that has to happen before tomorrow, in my opinion, make a decision on Guerrero. He's a 4th-round running back. Either he's good enough to play and you trust him, and then get ready to utilize him to finish games. He should have been in there yesterday. He's active. He's a running back. It's game day. You're up 10. It's the 4th quarter. You're winning the game. Hand it to him. Instead, they're handing it to McCaffrey. Cannot continue. Now, maybe Brian Robinson's the answer, but if Brian Robinson's not the answer, or if he's not the complete answer, then I'd like to see, in addition to getting a defensive lineman, I'd like to see them see if they can flip Guerrero for a running back that they can use. There's got to be some team that has a veteran running back that would love to have a big, fast prospect instead. And that, I think, would be if I'm the Niners, that would be another move I'd be interested in. Show me a D tackle or a D end or both. That would be great. A corner would be great. But if I could find one more running back, even if I could get Elijah Mitchell back, just somebody they can finish games with that isn't CMC. Because, there's enough games left that the Niners should win. And running the ball has got to be a big part of their equation. You can never be deep enough at running back. And now every week you're making Guerrero active. And yet, what's his real role? If I could find another veteran running back that Kyle had confidence enough in to use from scrimmage, I would definitely try to get that. You got to finish these games with somebody that's not CMC, Kyle. Okay, maybe it's Robinson, but it can't be CMC. It cannot be CMC. If you got to call Kansas City back and get Elijah Mitchell, then do that. But you got 5 or 6 wins, and let's say we're talking about 4th quarter carries that you got to take off CMC. In the running back who runs out the clock in the 4th quarter in games that you win gets crushed. Why? Because everybody knows you're running. Everybody knows you're burning the clock. So that everybody plays the run. So now you're running against, and you heard it the other day, you heard it yesterday. Oh my gosh, the Giants have all these guys in the box now. Yeah, of course. They've got to take away the run. So, it's, you got that many guys in the box, you're going to take hits. You're going to keep running your thoroughbred star running back, your meal ticket into the teeth of a defense that's expecting the run in the 4th quarter. You're hoping to win 5 or 6 more games. So you got 5 or 6 more 4th quarters, and we're only talking about maybe 5 or 6 rushes per game. But in 5 or 6 games, so we're talking about the equivalent of like a game or 2 of extra work that you're making McCaffrey, carry, when you got to have somebody else do that. He can't be your finish the game in the 4th quarter. He's going to get crushed guy and this essential key cog that you must have in the playoffs, or you're going home. It's either one or the other. He can't be both. It can't be both. You can't use your superstar. You don't take your Pagini off-roading. Is it that complicated? You don't take your Bentley mudding. You don't. That's what they're doing by running McCaffrey in the 4th quarter of these games they're trying to put away. Give those 5 get-crushed carries to somebody else. Or prepare to have McCaffrey not there or not at the level you need him at. Do the Niners have a shot to win the Super Bowl? I would say yes. But my first argument is they got to get to the playoffs with the healthy Christian McCaffrey. If they get to the playoffs with a healthy Christian McCaffrey, who knows? Who knows? They got a shot. If they get to the playoffs and they don't have a healthy McCaffrey, no shot. So no more 4th quarter, up by 10, the game's over, handoffs to Christian McCaffrey. Losing my mind over here. And so's Gizmo Maltese. And that's why we think alike. All right. That's going to do it for us. 30 minutes in and out. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to our good friends at Mando. Yeah, I'm smelling great. I'm absolutely smelling great. And then also thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. This entire football season, all season long, is brought to you by our good friends at Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry. Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. All right, Grant Cohn was making his return back from NY. So we're actually not going to stream today. We're going to stream tomorrow, hopefully after the trade deadline, and we can talk about the Niners move or moves at the deadline. So the Kruger Cohn extravaganza on this Monday will be pushed back 24 hours, and we will get together on Tuesday instead. I'll gladly stream with you on Tuesday. And then, but we still get a busy rest of the day. 6 o'clock, which is a few hours from now. I think I might hit the gym, might do some lifting, throw some weights around. When I'm come back from the gym, then we got a little Niners Nightly, but it's not at 6 o'clock tonight. It's at 8:30. So we'll be on after the Monday night game, 8:30 to 9:30. Check me out. And then I got to send a text to Dieter and see if Dieter wants to stream tonight. We've been a little hit and miss. Dieter's got, his own channel, and he does some reporting. He's on KBR. He does some Warriors reporting. He writes. He's got a bunch of things. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We just flow with it anyway. If he can do it, great. If he can't, no sweat. But we will try to connect. I'll send him a text, and we'll see if we can connect with Dieter. If so, we'll be on after right around 9:30 streaming tonight with Dietz. So have a great day. Thanks. Oh, we got a new super here. We got Boxing Fan ×4. Package Garendo with JJ. Yeah. JJ, the only thing about JJ I would say is JJ is such a big money player. He's such a big money receiver. I know he's a free agent. I know they're not going to sign him. So the part of me that says, hey, I know he's a free agent. I know they're not going to sign him is the part of me that says trade him, right? But then the other part of me that says, wait a second, you're still going to play big games down the stretch. He's a big game guy. You're going to play playoff games. You need big game guys in the playoffs. So every time I think of, I don't want to pay JJ, but I don't think he's going to bring much in a trade. So, and if the Niners lost to the Giants yesterday, I would say, yeah, trade JJ. You're going absolutely nowhere if you can't beat the Giants. Now that the Niners are a 6-3 team, they got as good a shot as anybody. Packers lost yesterday. Detroit lost yesterday. Tampa's beat up. Heck, the Rams, to me, look like the best team in the conference. And the Rams quarterback's almost 40, and, who knows? Guys go down all the time. There's all kinds of injuries. Who just went down? Somebody just got done for the year. Who am I thinking of that just is done for the year? Everybody, people lose players all the time. Oh, I know there's one other thing I was going to mention is that there's reports today that Jerry Jones and the Cowboys are on the verge of doing something major. And maybe it's Jerry Jones giving his number one for Trey Hendrickson. So there's been some reports of Jerry Jones potentially getting a pass rusher. So the Niners, the other thing about Hendrickson is, there's also, you try to block him from going to a team that you're going to have to go against. I don't know if I'd want, after Detroit lost this weekend, I'm sure they would love to have Hutchinson and Hendrickson. And they may be willing to trade that number one. They're pretty desperate. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. But 49ers need some help on that defensive line. Hendrickson would be great. Jermaine Johnson would be great. Michael Clemens, I think, is kind of a sleeper pickup. I think he could really help. And then there's a couple of the war daddies inside that are rumored to be available that if I'm the Niners, I would absolutely show interest in. I don't want to trade draft choices, but if I can get Quinton Williams, I would. I don't want to trade draft capital, but if I could get Tavondre Sweat, I would. If I could get, some big dominant piece on my defensive line, I would definitely do that. So we shall see what the Niners are going to do or not do, but we're about 24 hours away. And Boxing Fan times 4 says, package Correndo with JJ. See what you can get. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to all of you. Have a great rest of your day. Check me out after Monday Night Football, and possibly we will stream one more time later today with Dieter. Who knows? We'll check with him. And until then, peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of.